Hi, this is Sean Monk.
And I'm TJ Cornwell.
This is the Planet Film Podcast. All right, so first off, we just wanted to, address last week we didn't have a typical episode. We opted to skip out on it just because there was the hashtag Blackout Tuesday with everything happening in the country. We did, however, still, because we had watched the movie we were planning to review, so we figured, hey, just to put something out. A few days later, we did put out our Cheaper by the Dozen review, so check that out if you want to. But we're just going to go ahead and pick right back up with the regular show format for this week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it with our first segment, which is New News. All right. So first off, the first thing we just wanted to touch on is actually breaking just about an hour ago here, is that we did have confirmation that Hartley Sawyer was let go and fired from The Flash, the CW television series, which has been running since 2014. He plays Ralph Dibny, or the Elongated Man. He's been on there for the past 3 seasons. Unfortunately, or however you want to look at it, tweets came to light that he had done back in like 2012 and 2014 that were deemed like racist and misogynistic. So he was pending a review, basically, because the tweets, according to the THR article, the tweets came out on, I think, May 30th. So it's been like about a week or so since then. The CW has had time to investigate the situation and look into it. And they did deem that, just overall, based on the situation, that he could not continue with the show. Now, I know that you don't watch CW shows that much. I know there's been a lot of CW show news in the past couple weeks, but like, what is your take on this? On just in general, we've had this type of situation happen with different people multiple times in the past. What is your take on this whole situation in regards to this specific instance, or just the overall type of situation that's been happening?
I mean, just don't be racist. Like, it's not hard. I mean, no, it's not hard. I get it's like, oh, it's an ideology people grow up with, blah, blah, blah. No, don't be racist. Especially, like, in this time, people can get you for anything. So, like, if you tweeted something, like 10 years ago that you forget about, you're going to be held accountable for it, most likely. Like, somebody's going to find it, and they're going to be like, hey, look at this. And they're going to lose your job. I was just thinking in my head, I related this back. Did you hear about the Mark Wahlberg thing? That he... No. Well, I didn't. So I didn't know this.
Is this like about like the thing that happened like years ago?
Well, apparently multiple things. Oh, like he like when he was a teenager, he like was very apparently very racist. He like, I think there was like a story that he chased like these 2 young like African American children down the street, like screaming the N-word or something like that. Obviously he's like apologized for it. But he tweeted something about like Black Lives Matter like a day or 2 ago, and everybody was like, can we not forget like when he did this when he was a teenager? Wow. So I mean, it's just like the world we live in now. Like, if you do something terrible, you're going to be held accountable for it. Granted, he's not getting like, he still gets work. I mean, if you think those projects are good or bad, that's kind of your decision. But clearly, it's not affecting him. I don't know. Is this what's his name? Hartley? Is he on like other things, or is he just on this show?
I think he does like other guest spot type work, like on other shows. But like, this has been like, he started in, I think, the beginning of season 4, with The Flash, and then he has been a series regular for, I believe, the past 2 seasons. So they might have actually like first mentioned him in season 3, but like he first appeared in costume and like as the character in season 4, and then I believe he has been series regular since then. So he doesn't do like much work out of it. Like he was on a CW show. He was actually on a CW show, like the main character in one before this. And then he got the Flash. So I think he's mainly just like a CW network.
Okay. I was going to say, I feel like even with this, though, he'll get like another. I feel like he'll just get another job because I feel like that's just like how Hollywood is. Like you could do.
Yeah.
Not that you can do, like, it takes like a lot for them to be like, okay, no more. But with him, I guess, considering he's kind of maybe considering he's kind of a small actor, maybe he doesn't. But if it was somebody bigger, like example, if you look at Mark Wahlberg and look at his past, they still cast him and everything. So,
and then there's the whole wrinkle of it too that people are like, and obviously this is completely opinion based, but comparing the situation, obviously the closest situation to this was last year or maybe even the year before at this point, the James Gunn situation with Guardians 3.
Yeah,
getting fired from there and then getting rehired. But a lot of people are saying that these tweets, and this is just what I've seen online, a lot of people are saying that these tweets are more kind of matter-of-factly not jokes.
Oh,
like the James Gunn ones, I read those and they were distasteful.
They're not tasteless, or they're tasteless.
Yeah, but you could tell that there was like they were almost all like punchlines to him. You know what I mean? Like you could tell it was just really bad attempts at humor. Obviously misguided. Obviously, that's a whole nother situation that James Gunn has repeatedly and constantly apologized for.
Yeah.
But these ones, I have read a couple that were listed in the Hollywood Reporter article, and they're, in my opinion, and what I've seen online, they're a lot less defendable. I
was gonna say, even if they're jokes, you don't joke about that stuff.
No, exactly, yeah. And once again, just my opinion. The things that, if these are jokes, the things that Hartley Sawyer were joking about were a lot more serious than not more serious, but I would say a lot broader of topics. Like he was kind of going out for blood for almost seemingly every group, like women, African American people, basically any race, like just seemingly society in general.
Sounds like an awful person.
Yeah.
So maybe he shouldn't have. Yeah, maybe he shouldn't.
And that's one of the saddest things is that one of the things that the CW prides itself on, and the Flash in particular, is their inclusive network. That there are so many people of color and different ages, different races, different everything on those shows. And the Flash in particular, I mean, Legends of Tomorrow is very, very varied, in the races and religions and stuff, and they get into that. They dive deep into that on that show. It's really, really great. But Flash, it's just about this kind of family dynamic with Team Flash, and you have Cisco, who is a Latino actor, Carlos Valdez. Then you have Barry, who is white, and then you have the whole West family, who the show opted to make black in the show. Which there's been interpretations of Wally West and Iris West that are black, but originally they were white. So that's another thing that they chose. And that whole family, I mean, that brings in multiple characters to there. Like when you have Iris on, who, Barry is married to, Joe West, Wally West. There's a whole lot in there that they really try to be inclusive about, as well as a newer character. What's her name? It's going to drive you nuts now. Cecile Horton, who is now married to Joe. She's also African American, and I think she's a great addition. And the sad part is, I saw, I think it was on Instagram. The actress that plays her, posted because her and Ralph on the show kind of were the two that would kind of team up a little bit, because she used to be the DA and stuff, and he was a private investigator. So those two characters kind of had this interesting special connection that not many of the other characters did. And also I feel like really, as a fan of the show who's been watching since Barry first showed up in season 2 of Arrow, it really kind of sucks because Ralph is a huge part of that show. They just recently last season introduced Ralph's wife from the comics, Sue Dearborn, and that was a whole storyline that has not been wrapped up.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess and it kind of sucks for the actress that plays Sue Darabont because it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, they're probably gonna write her off.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas maybe they probably had much bigger plans for her.
Yeah.
And then also, Ralph, he was just because he's been on for 3 seasons, he was just a very integral part of Team Flash. And I know you don't watch The Flash, but the basic concept of like a superhero and their like support team.
Yeah.
Like it's super integral to the whole operation. And he kind of carved himself out a spot to be very, very integral to the whole operation. So it's going to be very interesting to see, what season 7 of Flash looks like. Obviously with the COVID stuff, you're already having a bit of a weird season 7 with the Flash where it's not even going to start until 2021. They had to cut this season short, so who knows, what they had planned. But it'll be very interesting to see how that all wraps up. A little bit of happier news, lighter news, exciting news, I would say, is that Jon Favreau in an interview this past week did offer some information on The Mandalorian Season 2, which is that luckily, and if you're not watching right now on Disney Plus, the Disney Gallery Mandalorian documentary series, I highly suggest it.
Great.
Fantastic. A lot of that is showing us the process of how this show is made and showing that it's basically like the mentality for making the show is measure twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, cut once. You know what I mean? Like it's basically they do months and months of prep.
Yeah.
And then they just go in on the day. They know exactly what they're going to film and they film it. And he talked about that has allowed them that they got the shooting for season 2 done months ago. So during all this COVID lockdown stuff, they were able to edit and finish VFX and do things like that. You can still get, ADR, like additional dialogue and stuff can be sent in by the actors. So he said basically, other than the brief period of transition, like getting everybody home, they've been able to keep chugging along and working. So he was able to let us know that it is still going to make the October release date on Disney Plus, which is amazing that even with this COVID stuff, they not only were able to get the season turned around, but we're actually going to get it, less than a year since the first one, because the first season aired in, mid-November. And here we're getting this in October, which is, great. So overall, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts on, Mandalorian not being delayed? We're definitely going to get it in that October space.
I kind of figured it was coming at the same time. Or this is a quick question. I forgot. Were the all that casting stuff, was that for season 3?
No, that was for season 2.
2? Oh.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm still very hyped about it. I really liked the first season. I just again wish that all that stuff wouldn't have come out because it'd been a cool surprise to see like, oh, there's Rex and there's Ahsoka and they're in the show and blah blah. I'm still hoping that Ezra makes an appearance. I think that'd be really cool to tie that in. But yeah, like what you're saying about the documentary stuff, like the most previous one when he's talking about the previs and stuff like that. Oh my God, that was like, because they were like, okay, we built in the previs, then we look at it multiple times, so we go to VR, we shoot shots in VR. Because I think he said he did that in Lion King.
Yeah, he said in Lion King and in Jungle Book, he shot digitally in like a VR space. Yeah,
and then they go and shoot it for real. And then the other thing, I just love the I thought the documentary series is great. I hope they do it like again for the second season.
Yeah.
I just like hearing from all the directions.
And we still have 2 more episodes of it.
Yeah.
Which is great.
With I think it was 1 episode ago or 2. I forget what it's called. The big screen with all the
the volume.
The volume. Yeah, oh my God! Because when you're watching it, you're like, oh, they must have just gone there because it's a high budget, so it's like, oh, they probably went there and shot it. It's literally all like CGI or whatever, visual effects.
Yeah.
So
if anything, it's practical, not even CG, because it's actually on the screen there for the actors. I mean, there's like digital touch-ups and stuff and like blending that's going on, but it's like amazing how they did all of
Yeah,
that.
just like a quick, if you haven't seen it, just a quick description. Basically, it's like, I don't even know how many LED screens just stacked on top of each other. And it's running, I think it's running Epic Unreal Engine from Epic.
Yes.
It's a game engine that video games are made in. And it's just rendering like a whole landscape behind whatever they're shooting.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're actually there, or once it's finished, it looks like you're actually there instead of actually having to travel and shoot, But yeah, like I said, I'm really excited for this season. I'm hoping it fulfills. Like I feel like people have high expectations. I mean, from the first season, I don't see why you wouldn't. But yeah, I'm just hoping it's a good season. And I know they already did season 3, but I don't know how many seasons they're going to do. I hope they do a lot, but
yeah,
however far he can like push the story, I guess.
Yeah, and I just wanted to kind of piggyback off that. Another thing that I forgot did actually come out, with some reports and speculation and stuff, is that in addition to all the other Rebels characters that they've been talking about bringing into live action, and Mandalorian specifically, they're talking about casting live action for 2 characters, not necessarily in Mandalorian, but they are now saying that they're looking for live action Ezra and live action Thrawn, which just quickly touching on that, who would you say would be like your picks for those 2 characters? And remember, they're going for Ezra, they're going for like mid 30s to like early 40s, and they're saying that it could be like African American, Indian, Latino, anything like that.
I could see Thrawn as, this is going to be some like question. Like I could see Thrawn as Idris Elba as Thrawn. He's kind of got that low like voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as Ezra, I was thinking I like Andrew Garfield ran through my mind, but he wouldn't do it because he's like, he's like on the indie wave. I feel like he doesn't want to get on like a thing in like a contract. Young. Maybe throw like who's young? Who's a young actor? They're not coming.
Well, for this, it wouldn't be young.
Well, 30, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like 30 or like 40 for him. So it'd be like kind of like middle-aged, basically.
Okay.
I would say, me specifically, I was thinking of I believe it's pronounced Raul Cooley, who plays Ravi.
Yeah. Okay, so if you haven't watched, there's a gaming YouTube channel called Funhouse. He's on there a lot. He's not part of them, but he's like friends with them and he games with them a lot.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. He was on iRobot or Mr. Robot, is it? Or is it iRobot? Or no. He was on iZombie. Sorry. Yeah. He was on that. I never watched it, but he just seems like a really cool guy.
That's that would be my pick for Ezra in live action. I think that he's got the look for it. He's got the long nose, because that's the defining feature of Ezra is that he's got, not that the person has to look exactly like the animated character, but he does have like a big nose, and I just think him playing him much older would be awesome. And he's got like the Ezra's hair is kind of up and down with how fans like it, but he's got the Raul Cooley's got like the nice like coiffed.
He's got like a slick like type.
I think he just look very, very. He looks very Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, and he's also a massive Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
and he's the right age and the right look for it. So, and he's a great actor. So I would go with that, and then my pick. Now, it's interesting what you said about the voice, because to me, you have to have. I almost feel. I almost don't know how they would do Thrawn, because to me his voice is so like specific.
So specific, yeah.
That
would you just bring back the like? What if you just did a CGI and brought back the? That's
what I was gonna say though. Is what if you just dub whoever it is, but then it's like, well, that might be like kind of a disservice to the person.
Yeah.
But they've done that in Mandalorian before, because it's like you have what's his name? Wayne, I forget his name, but the actual physical actor, or one of the physical actors who's in the Mando suit, getting dubbed by Pedro Pascal. But if you go the dub route or not, my personal pick for Thrawn, who I think would be fantastic, and on the cover of the Timothy Zahn Thrawn books, kind of already looks like him, You know how they kind of do that, like they kind of just loosely base it on someone's likeness. I would go with your boy. I would go with Pierce Brosnan. I think seriously, I think he would be. He's like 65 or 70-ish, and that's exactly how old Thrawn would be. I think if you do him up in the blue skin and the red eyes and stuff, he's got the perfect hair to play Thrawn. You know, you just got to dye it like blue. I think Pierce Brosnan would be incredible.
That's something I wonder, like, if he'd be up for. He'd be like Star Wars. Like, I don't want to.
Exactly, yeah. Especially
or if he'd be like
Star Wars television.
Yeah.
But then again, he was in like Mrs. Doubtfire and like his James Bond movies. And Mamma Mia, yeah. So, you know, we'll see. But, you know, those, I think it's fun to fan cast, I would say. But I definitely think as soon as I heard live action Ezra, the first, and especially that they were looking for like Middle Eastern actors, I was like, the first person that came to my mind was Raul Cooley. But
yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I just think that Pierce Brosnan though would be great as that. But like I said, I'll be interested if they end up if we ever do end up seeing a live action Thrawn, which is crazy that we are even close to that potential. Seeing as though he wasn't even canon 5 years ago, and now he might show up in live action actually on screen is crazy to me. But nevertheless, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to go with for the voice. Next thing, just quick here, you know, with everything that's going on with the protests and the marches and stuff that are happening all across the country and now all across the world right now, and just the overall atmosphere of, you know, race relations and the Black Lives Matter movement that's going on right now. We have 2 movie studios opting to make 2 of their pretty high-profile films completely free to rent right now. So that's Paramount with the Ava DuVernay-directed Selma, and then Warner Brothers with Just Mercy, the movie that just came out right at the beginning of this year. Both fantastic movies. They made them completely free to rent on all platforms, so I highly encourage you to, you know, go out, check out both those movies.
Those are both I still have to watch. I didn't catch Just Mercy when we had it, I think, in the theater, and then Selma just like kind of passed me by, but I definitely need to watch those. Yeah,
Just Mercy was one that I missed when we had it because at the movie theater that Tim and I worked at, or do work at, well, currently closed. We only had Just Mercy for like about a week.
Yeah.
Just because there was so much coming out at Christmas. So I ended up catching it at Regal like a few weeks later. And I saw it in a day that I saw 3 movies that day. And that was the one that I think it was my second movie that day. I was ready to walk out right after that one because I was just so like impacted by the story and Jamie Foxx's.
I was gonna say, people say Jamie Foxx is really good in that.
Everyone in that movie, especially Tim Blake Nelson, fantastic. Like he brought it last year, but him in Just Mercy, like in the little role he had, super impactful with like 5 minutes of screen time. But Jamie Foxx in that movie, and also Brie Larson and Michael B. Jordan are their usual degrees of excellent and great. But Jamie Foxx, you know, who has been a great actor in the past, but, you know, has also done, you know, Electro and Amazing Spider-Man 2 and stuff like that. But he brought it. Like, Jamie Foxx was fantastic in this movie. And it's just so resonant with what is happening today, especially one of the opening scenes with, you know, his character and a police officer. Fantastic. Another one that's not free right now, but I would very much recommend with everything that's going on right now is Queen and Slim, which was also
I missed that. I need to watch that too. I missed that.
Yeah, you got some homework to do. But to anyone listening, you know, I definitely recommend, you know, those 3 movies. And they are all I believe Queen and Slim is based on a true story. I can't remember. I know I knew it like when the movie came out, but it's just not in my brain right now. But the first 2 definitely are based on real people and real events. And I believe Queen and Slim is too, but I have to check on that one. But all 3 of those movies I would highly recommend. You could probably pick up Queen and Slim for a rental for like $5. So I would definitely recommend. And like I said, any platform, you could even probably find it on YouTube, Google Play Store. It's absolutely free for the entire month of June. So I would definitely check those out. And it's great on those studios for doing that, to make it free just to get the message out there. Okay, so another thing here, which I'm not sure how much you would know about this, but I did work, for a time at a comic book shop, and one of my jobs was taking in the inventory every week and, sorting the comics and putting them on the shelves and dealing with the invoice and the deliveries and stuff. And they all come from Diamond Comic Distributors, which for years has had the market cornered, like more than cornered, like almost monopoly, where literally every single comic company goes through them for their distribution. And this week, DC has announced that they cut ties with Diamond Comic Distributors. So this is, coming after a while of people speculating that kind of paperback comic book issues are kind of going the way of the dodo, if you want to say.
Yeah. Well, Marvel has the whole app now.
Yeah, Marvel has Marvel Unlimited, and then
I don't know if DC does it with their.
Well, there's DC Universe, which is like their streaming service. Also encompasses comics, but it's mostly old catalog titles, not new stuff. Mm-hmm. But both Marvel and DC are both available on Comixology, which is it's one of the major digital comic things. But digital comic sales have been going up and up and up and up and up, and physical sales have been going down and down and down. Believe me, that whole time when I worked at a comic book shop, it was a lot of people coming in, for their pull list every week, and not too many else. It was basically people that have been going there 4 years, getting the same stuff, just picking up their stuff and then going out. Like a lot of comic shops are focusing more towards like back here, like Funko Pop sales and they do
posters, sometimes
board games and stuff. Like
exactly.
They even have Legos right there. Like they're trying to broaden what they sell and what they're all about, to try and attract more people. Because honestly, the actual comic book purchases aren't as sustainable as
kind of like a movie theater.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The only comic book shop I know around here is the Queen City one on what is it? Main Street.
Oh, okay. It's
by UB South or whatever.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. Yeah,
but I know there's one, or I don't even know. Like, there's that toy shop on Delaware. Do they do comics as well, or no?
Yeah.
Okay, then those are the only two I know of. I don't know of anything else around here.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. All right. So then, next thing here, a little bit more good news, is that the UK has decided to resume film and higher end TV productions under new COVID-19 guidelines. So that's going to allow major productions like the Batman, Jurassic World Domination, Sex Education, and The Witcher to resume filming, which is good. Break Robert Pattinson out of his Airbnb. But it's going to be great. A lot of those higher end, blockbusters that film on location in London or in England, like at Pinewood Studios and stuff. It's a lot of different things that are finally going to be able to, get those people back to work, obviously in a limited basis, but they do feel comfortable enough that they're able to start production up again on some things. This is coming, I think a week or two ago, when New Zealand allowed production to restart on the Avatar films. So, it's good to see nothing in actual Hollywood or America yet, but some parts of the film industry some of the gears are starting to turn again, which is nice. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, one, they could keep Jurassic World. I don't want that.
Keep it indefinite basis.
No. I'm excited. just did they push the Batman
Yeah. It was originally supposed to come out in
next year and
in July. Well, yeah, they didn't push it too much, but it was just originally supposed to come out in July of 2021. Now it's coming out Halloween 2021.
Yeah. This like the only thing on this this list so far, like I mean, you have such as it's not everything, is like the Batman. The Witcher I haven't really watched. I'm not that interested in it, in all honesty. But it's good news. We're making a little bit of progress, even though it's not here. Because the U.S. is, the highest death toll, I think, in the world, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll probably be a while. But it's good news. I'm just happy that we're getting stuff made.
Yeah, with The Witcher, I know I talked about it, I think in the first or second episode that I had not seen it. But I have started it. I watched the first episode. It's very, very good. So I'll probably be watching that. I'm also watching currently Space Force, which we will talk about later on. But The Witcher is definitely very, very good. I would recommend it. It's kind of, if you've been missing out on good Game of Thrones, I would say it's that. It's like Game of Thrones with a lot more overt comedy. It is not to say that The Witcher is a comedy whatsoever.
Yeah.
But with Henry Cavill, he's just very charismatic and funny. So they give Gerald a lot of material to work with there, but it's very good. And then just another thing, this is going to be in the I believe, Universal is starting production on early production on a Wolfman movie, and they have cast or are trying to lock into a deal Ryan Gosling to star as the Wolfman.
Okay.
It's unclear right now if this is going to be part of Universal's separate universe.
Real quick, sorry. I was going to say, are they going back to that whole Dark Universe thing?
No, this will definitely not be the Dark Universe.
Okay. I didn't know if that was a part of it.
No, yeah. Okay. But it's, because I think in the Dark Universe, the Wolfman was cast and it was going to be...
is it Javier
Bardem, I think? Yeah. Or he might have been like Dr. Frankenstein? I don't know. That whole thing was a mess. But I'm pretty sure it was Javier Bardem was cast as the Wolfman.
Yeah.
But right now it is unclear whether or not this is going to be part of the Blumhouse Universal Monster movies, which I hope it is.
I hope, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Or if this is going to be another one of the bigger budget kind of whatever, monster movies that we kind of get, like your I, Frankensteins and The Mummy and
stuff. If it has Ryan Gosling, I assume it has to have some, it has to be like good. It can't be it can probably be like Invisible Man, where it's a cheaper budget, but you can.
But I mean, look at the cast of The Mummy. You know what I mean? That's what happened there.
Yeah.
Sometimes less budget is better. But I'm really hoping that that's going to be part of the Blumhouse universe that they're doing there. But it'll be interesting to see when we get more information on that, if Jason Blum is going to be a producer on it or whatnot, because that would definitely give me a lot more confidence in there.
Yeah.
And then some fantastic news, best news of the week here, is that Sonic the Hedgehog finally has its sequel confirmed at Paramount. You look at the first movie. First movie had a budget of about $85 million.
Yes.
It made total about $306 million.
Okay, well, real quick though, this got cut off though, technically, right? Because it was still in theaters.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so it could have made more.
It could. It definitely could have made more. But this movie is such a special circumstance with what happened to it because you have that original design and it's oh my god, and then the studio listens, to the fans, to the reaction.
Yeah.
They decide, all right, let's push it. Let's bring it out on Valentine's Day. Who knows what's going to happen? When you hear, oh, the movie's been pushed to February or January, you're like, oh, well, I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
Then they redo the design. The design is like perfect, like on Sonic and other characters that I will not spoil. But the character design is like fantastic. Then you actually see the movie, And to me, I mean, it's one of my top 3 of the year so far. I mean, that's not saying much. There's only been like,
Yeah, it's not a lot.
but it's definitely up there with my top 3 of the year. Might even be my number 1 or 2. But I really enjoyed it. I've seen it like 6 or 7 times. It is very, very good.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. Ben Schwartz has been on Twitter, talking like, "Hey, I'd love to do it." Like he did an interview with Fandom a couple weeks ago, and he said, "I'd love to do it," but surprisingly, there's no confirmation yet. And then just about a week after that interview with Fandom, we got the report that it was confirmed. And also another thing that I am happy about is Jeff Fowler will be back in the director's chair for the sequel, so it'll be the same director, same cast. None of the cast but Ben Schwartz has been confirmed yet. But I would assume you're gonna be bringing back James Marsden and Jim Carrey, and just picking that up. I mean, there's probably gonna be even bigger cast, even more characters.
Yeah.
But I would assume you'd want to bring back those 3 because those are Ben Schwartz, James Marsden, and Jim Carrey.
I would love a whole Sonic universe. We got to get Shadow in here. We got to get Amy, I think that's her name.
Knuckles.
Knuckles. Yeah.
But I think no matter what they want to do, if they want to make just a really great standalone Sonic franchise, or if studios can pull a Roger Rabbit on this and give us a Sonic Detective Pikachu crossover, that would be.
This is also a streak of 2 in a row. I think good video game movies. Yeah. I don't know if anything was between them. I can't recall. But like usually their video game adaptations to films are trash. I didn't see Assassin's Creed. I heard it was awful. I haven't seen the Resident Evil movies. I heard those are bad.
Those are bad. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, they're 2 for 2 on this right now.
And sorry, real quick, like looping in. It's not a movie, but HBO is doing the Last of Us show.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, maybe sometimes video games are more suitable for shows. But
with the Chernobyl showrunners and show team, which I think is like amazing.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, we just made this one of the best miniseries HBO has ever made. Let's adapt a video game next.
Yeah,
but it's like, okay, if that's what you want to do. And then also announced this week that at least the pilot, not only the showrunners will be the same showrunners, but at least the pilot of the Last of Us series will be directed by the director of the Chernobyl series.
Oh, cool.
They announced that this week. That I don't have the name, but that they will be returning to direct at least the pilot. They said could be more, could be whatever.
Cool,
but it's going to be one hell of a pilot if it's the exact same team. Okay, and then last 2 things here. We do have some more CW news, just kind of going off the last time we talked about it, the Batwoman news. We have here that the Batwoman, after Ruby Rose quitting the show, is going to be moving forward, not with a recast, but with a in-story character change. So they're going to put a new character under the cowl that is going to be Batwoman. And the only quote that they're saying is basically that it's going to be very fun, exciting, new.
Yeah.
But the more interesting part is that they said, and very not Cat Kane. So they're going in a totally different direction. It's going to be a totally different type of character than we got with Ruby Rose. So, I mean, it could be a brand new character written specifically for the show, or, they could go with other versions in the comics. There's also been Kathy Kane was Batwoman, but you also have, several Batgirls who could also be it. One being Barbara Gordon. If you bring her in, that would, be fantastic because there's so much love for that character from the comics and, some of the animated work. But there's so much love for that character and just that world. So I think it would be very interesting to see that. Do you have any thoughts on that, or?
I just think it'd be cool. Though, like, I didn't know that everybody else, like, there was other people that played Batwoman. I always just thought it was Barbara Gordon. I mean, I know there's like different variations, I guess. Yeah, I just think maybe it'll make the show better. I don't know, because wasn't it like not the greatest when she was on it?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah.
Yeah.
So
But they want to replace her with like an LGBT person, right?
yeah, I think yes,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they want to keep that element of it, but it's like, I mean, they would want to keep that element of it, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say. Like, I mean, if it's just like, oh well, that's kind of a coincidence that like the person who's taking it up is also LGBT. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, it's or it could just be that that's just what they want to do and they want to stick with that, and that's great too. It's just you know, it would be interesting to see that they're not going the recast route, that they're going an in-story retooling kind of. It'd be very interesting to see. And then the last piece of news here is throwback to before the when life was simpler. We have Tiger King himself, Joe Exotic, has lost his zoo to Carole Baskin. So basically, Carole Baskin's Big Cat Rescue was given control of the zoo in Oklahoma on Monday, as opposed to the payment that Mr. Joe Exotic owed her for the various lawsuits that have been thrown back and forth. But what do you think about that? From prison, Mr. Joe Exotic losing his zoo.
I'll be honest. I just don't. I feel like at this point he was like a thing for like a month, and then he just kind of left everybody's minds. I don't know. That sucks. You're in jail. You can't really do much about it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know why they're doing. I think that they're doing this series with Nick Cage. I think that's a bit like I like the casting, but I just think that's a bit premature to do like a whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched like the last episode.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I watched like the first 5 minutes. I was like, this is pointless. I don't know why I'm watching it. Like the
yeah, I mean, basically they were like, it's a new episode, and I mean, it was like, it was the Tiger King and I. That's what.
Yeah, was he just interviewing like the people?
Yeah, and I liked like Joel McHale like doing it, like that was funny and stuff. But I mean, it basically was just like he just had like 5 questions, and he just asked like the same 5 questions to like different people like over Skype, and that was like a cool show. And it's like okay, but
yeah, I mean, it was a riveting series when it was on.
Yeah, I think it filled the void for what it needed to be at that time.
Yeah,
and now it's like we're kind of a little Tiger fever has subsided.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not really relevant. I feel like it's just not relevant anymore, especially during this time period. Even though it was this year, but it's just I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
All right, and with that, it's going to be time for a quick break. So we will be right back on the Planet Film podcast. Welcome back to the Planet Film podcast. Now it's time for Tell Me What to Watch. I don't know what to watch.
Tell me what to do. I don't know what to do.
All right, today we're going to be reviewing V For Vendetta, starring Hugo Weaving and Natalie Portman. Release date release year 2005. Do you want to just run through the box office real quick, and then I'll just tell them?
Yeah. So basically, the box office for this movie, and that's kind of what we're going to do for all these reviews. Is we're going to give you an overview of the movie first, and kind of the box office, and then we're going to jump into it. So the box office for this on a $54 million budget. Domestically, it made about $70 million. Internationally, about 62. So altogether, worldwide, it made about $132 million back, which for a independent Vertigo comic movie by the Wachowskis, produced by the Wachowskis, definitely a pretty good amount of money, especially for the type of film that it is. But yeah, without further ado, why don't you go ahead and lead us off and get right into it.
Just for anybody that hasn't seen it, I'm just going to read off like a quick summary off IMDb. So it says, in a future British tyranny, a shadowy freedom fighter known only by the alias of V, played by Hugo Weaving, plots to overthrow it with the help of a young woman, Natalie Portman. Overall, I thought this movie was amazing. I I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's scary to think the amount of like how relatable it is to today. I mean, you got the government oppression, and you got a pandemic, which we're also in. If I didn't see the year of this, I would have said it came out this year.
Yeah,
because that's
or maybe even came out next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
overall, like I said, I thought it was really good. I thought the performances are great. I thought the story was good. Looking at the box office, I'm actually surprised it didn't do more, considering the Wachowskis adapted it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, everybody probably knows them at this point from Matrix, so you'd figure that it would bring more people. As far as like the director goes, I think this is like the only real. This is like the biggest movie he did.
Yeah, kind of like a lot of people consider him to be like a kind of a one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
type
he did
director,
this, and then he didn't really go on to do much else. He did the Raven. I don't know if that's the biggest thing, but overall, I didn't know it was DC. So when DC popped up, I was like, oh, whoa, look at this. Is it like is it like Watchmen like that, or is it like a comic series or whatever?
It was a graphic novel.
Okay.
I don't know if it was what do I want to say? If it came out week to week, or if it was just released as a volume. But I have the graphic novel. It's amazing. I mean, the graphic novel is incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are like minor differences, just like with like, but it's almost word for word, like the graphic novel.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, there are some minor differences.
Yeah. Real quick, sorry. I thought, like I said, the script is great. But just like it just apply, like I think it says it takes place in 2032 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you have the surveillance, and then you have people who speak out against the government, are basically, they call it bagged, and then just taken to some, prison and maybe killed or something.
Yeah. Or tortured at the very least.
But like, there's a lot of just like, there's just a lot of, I guess, just symbolism. Like for here, I wrote down like, you should not be afraid of your own government. So basically, what's going on right now is, we're militarizing cities, and the president said, if you don't take care of it, we're going to come in and take care of it for you.
Yeah. And that's even something I think, almost a direct quote from V in the movie is he says like a government or a people should not fear its government. It should be the other way around, basically.
Yeah, exactly. The people, or the government should fear the people.
Exactly.
The people should be making decisions.
Yeah.
What else did I write? There's another thing like with the book. I think it's like a journal, the Red Journal. It's talking about like the virus and stuff. I felt like that also connects today, because they're saying, well, don't talk about what happened all those years ago. Don't talk about how we were terrible.
Yes.
Which is what's happening now. It's with America coming to terms with, this is what this country was built off of. There is systematic racism. You can't
deny it.
Put blinders on and be like, it doesn't exist.
It's like it's the scene where Finch and Dominic are in the one general's office, and they're asking for the files on Lock Hill, and he's like, we don't have the files, and he's like, well, what do you mean you don't have the files? Yeah. He's like, whether they must be incomplete or what's going on. He's like,
or you destroyed them.
Yeah, and he's just like, it's best not to bring this up. The country was at a very difficult time, and kind of we did what we had to do mentality. I think he even says that we did what we had to do.
Yeah.
And Finch is like, what?
Yeah. Well, I also I agree with V as his I don't even know how to...
ideology.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that. I don't agree with him just killing all these people. He's breaking the thing and he's killing all these cops, etc. The only problem I had with the movie, which it solved at the end. I was like, oh, okay, because during it, when they're talking about like the fire and how he's like he breaks out of the fire, he's like, ah. I was like, is this Deadpool? Because in my head, I'm like, well, that's that's kind of what happened to him, isn't it? He was like experimented on it in a way. Or no?
Yeah, but I mean that's like kind of just a comic book thing in general. You know what I mean? It's like
I was because I thought he was going to be at the end when I didn't think he was going to die because they shot him like all those times, and I was like, if he's like superhuman, I was like, I don't know, like if I can like, because it was very grounded and it really hit like home because this is basically what we're going through now, in a way. But then he like took off like the bulletproof vest or whatever it was, and he still like died eventually.
Yeah. Spoilers for the film, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. It's but overall, like I thought it was a very good film. Like I said, I'm surprised it didn't do more. I think they should probably play this like on network television right now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I definitely, just I gave it 5 stars on there. And just for context, this is TJ's first time watching it.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And I have seen it probably like 30 times. It's easily one of my top 10, maybe top 5 films. But yeah, just the overall, and really I want to say too that the cast in this is fantastic. Obviously Hugo Weaving is amazing as V, and then Natalie Portman as well. And then, but also like people like Stephen Ree, who plays Finch in it. He's not in much, outside of this, but he is fantastic in this. He's kind of the point of view character through this. Besides, Evie is also, but she's more in on it and stuff like that. But he's kind of the point of view audience character trying to figure all this stuff out. And then, John Hurt as Chancellor Sutler.
When I was watching it, I was
amazing.
like, he looks so familiar. I was like, who is this actor? And I like looked it up. I was like, oh, it's John Hurt. But I was like, I can't place it. Yeah.
Well, it's also because you're not used to having John Hurt with like, like dark hair or just like it's just something about. Also, it's just something. It's not even just the dark hair. It's the way he's shot.
Yeah.
That like on the screen, because most of his appearance is on the screen. You don't actually. That's another great thing about this too, is you don't actually see Chancellor Sutler in person until right at the very end. Yeah. Right before he gets killed.
And you know what? Sorry, real quick. You know what this reminded me? It reminded me. Do you remember that old Apple ad where it's like the big like head on the screen like yelling orders, and the woman comes in with the
the 1984 ad.
Exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of 1984 like what do I want? His name just escaped my mind. Oh yeah, like George Orwell influence definitely on this. And it's just kind of creepy, how close it is to this now. You have a leader who's barking orders at people from, a secluded, secure location, just like through a screen.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how relevant all of this really is. And it's kind of the reason, we picked this. So, I would say overall, if you're looking to watch something that is, I would also say in a kind of strange way, uplifting.
Because it gives you hope almost.
It does. It ends very much on a down but hopeful note, which I think is fantastic where the movie ends. I think it's got one of the best last 5 minutes of any film ever. But I would say, if you wanted to watch this, or I would say, if you're thinking of watching this, I personally would say definitely give it a watch. I would definitely check it out and watch it. What would you say?
I definitely say watch it before we kind of veer off the movie and everything. Question: is Natalie Portman's accent in this movie good?
That's a tough question.
When it first started, I was like, does she have an accent? I was like, I couldn't tell for a minute. And then I was like, oh, she is doing an accent. I thought it was okay. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was like fine.
Yeah.
There's like certain things that she says that's like a little like it doesn't sound that good. But I mean, you know, like she was. Yeah, I mean, you got to remember too. Like she was still like super young at this. Like obviously got a very early start with acting, but you know, she was still very very young in this. So you know, it's whatever. But I mean, it's good enough for the movie. But yeah, I would say you know, it was pretty good. But yeah, other than that, I can't really think of anything else I'd want to talk about other than just the sheer awesomeness that is that final scene with blowing up Parliament to the 1812 overture. Yeah, with the fireworks, with the crowds, with all the masks coming off.
Oh, that
monologue.
So
yeah,
they're dead, right? Those people.
Yeah, I think the idea is not
symbolism,
not
like
all of them. Yeah, it's just symbolism. It's not that they're all dead. It's just that the people that have died for this are kind of like avenged in that moment, type of thing.
I see. Yeah, because then she's like, he was everybody. He was my brother. He was my mom. He was my dad.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, it was really good. I can't. I would just bump it up because like my like problem with it, I was like, it's really not too big of a deal. I think it was just like when he steps out of the fire and he's like,
well, and I think also the idea behind that too is that like he didn't survive through that. You know what I mean? Like you see the scene when he doesn't have his gloves on,
cooking,
that his entire body is completely burnt.
Yeah,
so
it just looked like grounded meat. Like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting like just thinking about that scene with his freaking hands.
Oh, another real quick. I just jotted this down. Did the news that like late night talk show host, not the one who like makes fun of the
Favreau, Louis Favreau.
Yeah, the guy who's like always yelling and stuff. Yeah. That guy. Did he remind you of Donald Trump, or is that just me?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's a lot to do with, you know, the type of movie is just it's very like, and also that's another element of the movie that's even more close now is that you know the movie takes place in England, but they talk about America quite a bit, and then that America
like Civil War
in a second Civil War. Yeah, and the movie starts with, you know, the voice of London, Louis Prothero, talking about this monologue where he says the former United States of America.
Because that's what I was curious. I was wondering if like these countries were like mad, like the way they're portrayed. Granted, it's if it's like that in the comic book that came out however many years ago, then it's not. Really, it's like it's been there, so you can't really be mad. But yeah, I didn't know if like England was like, don't talk about us like we're some like.
Well, I think a lot of it is that like they're fine because it's not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's in a very grounded world saying that we could be very close to this.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it all just depends. But yeah, final thoughts on the movie for me. I just think I would definitely recommend watching it. I think it's fantastic movie. I think it's one of the best movies ever made. But yeah, and I would love to see a 4K remaster.
They didn't do that?
I don't think so. I don't think it's on 4K with like a Blu-ray. Like I would love like a 4K Blu-ray steelbook of this movie.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But yeah, what would be your final thoughts on it?
Final thoughts. I think everything in this movie relates so much today. It's very scary. At the time, I don't know how much it really related. Overall, again, very good movie. Script's great, acting's great, story's great. I give it a must watch for especially right now.
Yeah.
Maybe it might like if you're not with the whole like I don't know if you're not like say I don't know nervous about the government or like what's going on now or something like that, or if you're like not willing to change, I would say watch this movie and it might change your mind. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, that was our review for Tell Me What to Watch. I Don't Know What to Watch for V for Vendetta. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here, which is going to be our shooting the shit segment. For today, we do have two things we want to talk about, which is that, shot heard around the world is that HBO Max launch was this week. Or maybe it was last week at this point. I can't remember.
Last week.
I think May 28th, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, it launched, and people were very excited for it to launch.
Yeah.
And then people were very not thrilled with the content that was available. One thing is definitely, something it's got a great selection of is it's got the Studio Ghibli films, or Ghibli, whatever you want to call them. Except for, I believe, one film it doesn't have, just because they don't have the streaming rights to it. Yeah. And then also the Turner Classic Movie collections are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But then they do have some good like Looney Tunes stuff as well, like the animation. But in terms of the actual film selection and the television selection, and they were hyping up Friends big time. Friends was their big get, was that this is going to be the exclusive streaming home of Friends. It wasn't there. It wasn't there at launch, and a lot of people were upset by that. And a lot of people overall were just kind of underwhelmed by it.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think? I know you got into the app on that first night. You got to take a look around.
Yes.
What did you think of the overall experience and what they have to offer?
I think where it's lacking is obviously the DC catalog.
Yes.
They really don't have much. I was really hoping I've only watched three things. I've only watched two things. So I watched Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, not knowing anything about Batman Beyond, and then I watched The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2, which I again didn't know that's where they got the whole Batman vs Superman concept thing.
Yeah.
I thought there was, when I was scrolling through the movies, I thought there was actually a decent amount. The thing, like I said, that is really lacking is the whole DC catalog. You don't have the Dark Knight trilogy. You don't have any Nolan films on here. You have one. No, you don't even have a Superman. You only have Batman vs Superman, and that's it.
Yeah, there's literally no Superman content.
I wanted to watch the older
the Christopher Reeve.
Yes, I wanted to watch that. I've never seen those, but those aren't on here.
Yeah, none of it's on there.
What else? We have Joker. Yay. Okay. Teen Titans I might rewatch. I used to watch that show when I was younger. I really like that. They got Wonder Woman, Shazam, but they don't. What I would like is if they could implement they probably won't do this because I don't even know if they have they probably have the rights to it, the DC streaming universe, because they have Doom. They seem to have Doom Patrol.
Yeah, no, it's the same. Yeah, they have the rights. It's the same company. It's Warner that makes.
So are they? Do you know? Are they going to merge those or no?
It's they're being very cagey about it. They're not really saying what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's I might watch those shows if they're on here. I'm not going to buy DC Universe streaming to watch those shows.
Mm-hmm.
But Doom Patrol, I actually kind of want to watch.
Yeah, exactly. And that one's supposed to be very good, but it's you shouldn't have to also pay for a separate streaming service when this one was pitched as everything Warner Brothers under one roof. You know what I mean? That's the elevator pitch of HBO Max. Is that it's everything HBO and everything Warner Brothers and everything Warner Brothers owns or makes all on one streaming platform.
The thing I like about this is that the last chance, it's it's going off HBO, but it's going to be on HBO Max. So it's not really last chance. If you think about it.
Is it though?
Well, is Lord of the Rings Warner Brothers? The Hobbit?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, because it says last chance Hobbit movies, but if they're just going to be on Max, most likely, then it's not really.
Well, but we don't know that because they could be because
assume they would put them on.
stuff that Warner Brothers owns cycles off HBO, just like it cycles off Netflix or Disney Plus or anything like that. So even if they have the rights to it, they can still remove it from the catalog.
Yeah,
which is pretty annoying. Like that's basically what people have said, and kind of like, you know, what I agree with is that people have kind of said they basically just dyed HBO Now purple and gave it a new name and like added more stuff. But it's like the idea is not HBO with more stuff. It's supposed to be HBO with all the stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's a big difference. Is those two things? That's a huge difference, especially to people, you know, that are watching and stuff.
The UI, I don't have really. I feel like a lot of people had a problem with the user interface. I feel like it's pretty straightforward.
I feel like the only problem I have with it is that it's literally just the same as HBO Now. Like it doesn't feel like they did not like Disney Plus. They built. That's why there's still some issues with Disney Plus is because they built this platform from the ground up. They completely built it. They didn't just say like, oh well, we're just gonna make a copy of Hulu and make that Disney Plus. They did a completely new platform. They completely made it brand new, out of the box. You know, that's why there's still some issues. That's why they didn't have an aspect ratio button for The Simpsons. You know what I mean? It took them months to get that. Exactly. But the reason it took so long is because they're building it from scratch. HBO literally just removed HBO Now and then just re-uploaded it as HBO Max. You know what I mean? Like they just went off the bones of HBO Now. And that's kind of my issue with it, is that if you're going to put out this premium product, I kind of feel like it sounds like I probably have more problems with it than you do, but if you're pitching this as this premium product and you're using the name HBO Max, it's like I should be able to watch everything. You know what I mean? It should not just be that I'm just re-logging into HBO Now and there's just some more stuff. Because that's really what it feels. That it really just feels like, oh, there's just some more stuff. And the whole problem with it's not even available on two of the absolute biggest.
Oh, that's the worst. I forgot about that. That is the worst thing. Oh my god.
It's not like Disney Plus where it's like, oh, we gotta wait till March because of the deals and stuff. There is no current deal in place at all to have it be on anything Amazon or anything Roku. Which are the two biggest streaming, what do you want to call them? Like streaming hubs, streaming providers, like streaming device providers.
Which I still have, like, I have a Fire Stick as well as a Chromecast. So I can, like, just cast it from my phone. But would I rather have it on a Fire Stick? Yes. Because I don't really use the Chromecast.
But then also you're taking up the internet and the use of your phone. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
You don't want to have to give that up just to watch it on your TV. And that's like a large chunk of people have those devices. Like I can get the app on my television, but I don't really use the native, like smart hub on my TV. I use my Roku. You know what I mean? And I can't get it on there, so it's like I gotta open it with that. And then on my then that's just the one in my bedroom. On my living room TV and on my mother's TV, she can't get it at all because she has a Roku TV, and then our living room TV just has the Roku plugged in. So it's like there's not even an option there. You know what I mean? Like you would have to get another streaming device to watch the stuff on TV, and that's just crazy to me. But yeah, I mean that's my thoughts, at least on HBO Max. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on just the experience, your experience?
Yeah.
How often you think you're going to use it?
I wish I've used it more. So far, I want to, like, there's some movies like Ad Astra just went on there, so I might rewatch it. I remember I like that movie, Decent Max. I didn't like the ending, I don't think.
That's one I still got to see.
It's good. Lucy in the Sky, no, I heard it was awful. I still kind of want to watch it. But they have like they got North by Northwest, they got Eraserhead, we got Gold Rush, City Lights, Modern Times.
And that's the thing, though, is that people and Dan Murrell, YouTuber Dan Murrell, posted a video kind of breaking down all this with HBO Max and like some pros, cons, and then he offered alternatives because he said really one of the best things that HBO Max has going for it is the Turner Classic Movie Collections.
Yeah.
But there's also kind of a lot of junk in that section. Like,
yeah, I'm looking at it now.
yeah, like there's some junk in there, and he said if you really want that, and I totally agree, and I have the subscription as well. If you want that fix of those types of movies, and it's a lot of the same movies, you can get the Criterion Channel subscription service, which gives you access to, I believe it's about like 90% of the entire Criterion collection.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like that's what I know that it's funny. I just recently, a few months ago, watched Seventh Seal when I got my Criterion Channel subscription. And then when I fired up HBO Max, that was one of the first movies listed. Was that it said Seventh Seal is available, and I was like, well, I already have that on Criterion, and sorry, but Criterion offers me so much more.
A lot of special features and stuff like that.
The Seventh Seal on the Criterion Channel has, I think, like 3.5 hours of
features,
behind the scenes features. Like there's a whole like 40-minute thing on Woody Allen's just take on Ingmar Bergman and stuff.
And the other thing, I don't think it's not 4K either.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not. The movies that are on there aren't even in their best quality.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Even movies like Shazam and Wonder Woman that are brand new aren't even in their best qualities. So I could literally throw on my Blu-ray of Shazam and have a better viewing experience just watching the Blu-ray than pulling it up on HBO Max. And it's like that should not be the case. The whole point of streaming media and stuff, and like what Disney Plus did, like all the Marvel movies and Star Wars movies on Disney Plus, they're all the brand spanking new 4K beautiful versions of them. Mm-hmm. And I just don't understand why you would launch the platform once again claiming that this is the this is what it was pitched as. This is not me projecting onto it. It was pitched as the end all be all, the place to watch Warner Media content, including DC, Friends, everything. And to me, my final statement is, unfortunately, I feel like HBO Max, not only is it not
worth it,
not only is it not the best place to watch the content, it's not even a good place to watch the content.
Yeah.
That's what I would say, I guess.
I probably, if I didn't have an HBO subscription already, I probably wouldn't subscribe to it. I think this was like, I know I'm definitely, unless something like Peacock is very like enticing, I probably won't get Peacock. But like this, I just happen to have HBO, so like I have it already. Like I said, I don't have as many problems with it as you do. There's a lot of movies on here that I've never seen, so like that's pretty good. I have like where are you gonna find like scanners from David Cronenberg?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I guess Criterion, I think it might be. But other than that, like you're gonna get it here. I mean, if you're looking for, I don't know, if you're in it for like, if you're looking forward to like exclusives and stuff like that, I wouldn't bother. But if you're looking for like, or like superhero movies, I wouldn't bother. But if you're looking for maybe like some, maybe just some like older, like if you're trying to get into like older film, I would probably recommend it maybe.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know, is Criterion the same price or is it?
No, it's much less. That's the thing.
It's much less. Oh, okay.
Is that
this also gives you more than, well,
it does give you more, but the thing is, it like for me, if you're someone like me who already has, and if you already have HBO, and I think we're just going to roll this into the final order for this week, is going to be, we want to know from you, if you don't already have HBO, will you pay for and will you get HBO Max? Also, if you already have HBO, are you going to switch over to HBO Max? Because honestly, sadly, it's not available in so many places.
Yeah.
the barrier to entry of the app itself, unless you're on mobile, is pretty high. So, like for me, I have HBO. I pay for HBO through my cable provider, but in the, like, let's just say in the past week, I've watched maybe 20 hours of content on HBO, none of which was on HBO Max. It was all on my HBO Go app on my TV, because that's what's easier right now for me, which is sad to say. So even if you have HBO, are you going to kind of handcuff yourself, to your phone or to your desktop? And are you going to use HBO Max, or are you just going to stick with regular HBO? So that's kind of what we want to hear from you about. Let us know if you're going to be making the switch to HBO Max. So with that, did you have any other things you wanted to talk about, or any other stuff you wanted to say about HBO Max?
I think I'm honestly, like, I'm kind of looking forward to, like, ignoring, like, the superhero movies and stuff. Like, maybe I'll rewatch, like, Wonder Woman or something before the new one comes out. But I'm actually, like, very interested in, like, the TCM collection, because they got some Akira Kurosawa films on there. And then definitely the Studio Ghibli, because I've only seen Spirited Away and My Neighbor Totoro.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, am I looking forward to, like, the Friends reunion? I don't really care. Like, I'll watch it probably. I'll most likely watch it. But
that's the thing. We don't even know how. Like, I am not a fan of Friends. I don't like the series, but I mean, a lot of people obviously do. A lot of people, that is their end all be all favorite show of all time. Like, and like the cornerstone of the marketing for this service was Friends, and it's not even on there.
Yeah, like, I mean, Friends, the show, the reunion's not on there.
No, the Friends, the show was not on there at launch. It might be on there now.
No,
but
it's not. It's got to be. It's definitely on there now.
Okay, well, for the first week, there definitely was people saying that, like, it was not even on there. That the actual show Friends was delayed with its HBO Max release.
Wait a second.
Is it not on?
No, it's right there.
Okay, yeah. Is it actually clickable, though? Can you actually play it?
Yeah, you can play all the
okay.
Stuff,
Yeah, but the thing is, like, people that are staying up just to watch that because it's been off Netflix for so long, like, they've been waiting. And like, just kind of the bungled launch of it. I don't know. I feel like I feel like even I don't like it even more than I thought I did.
It's like Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, well.
Quick question. Is X-Men, are the X-Men's going to be on here? There's only 2 of them, I think, or 3. Or
no, because they only have the streaming rights to everything Apocalypse and after. So they have the streaming rights.
That's like 2.
Yeah, no, exactly. So they have the streaming rights for X-Men Apocalypse.
Okay. They have First Class.
Yeah, they have. No, yeah, I just mean for the newer ones.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how many of the old ones they have access to, or if it's the whole series. But I know from like Apocalypse, Logan, maybe Deadpool. I'm not really sure. But definitely Dark Phoenix, and definitely, unfortunately, New Mutants is going to go to HBO, because that's how the streaming deal is worked out, unless Disney buy them out of that contract. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. But in an ideal world, hopefully one day they'll be bought out of that contract, and you'll just have a nice X-Men tab on Disney Plus that you can go to.
Yeah.
But, other than that, the last thing that, we just wanted to talk about is that starting this week, the Planet Film podcast will not be the only show on the podcast feed. We are going to be launching a Star Wars specific show on the channel and on the podcast feed starting this week. That show is this show here releases like Tuesday mornings, so it's going to release Tuesday morning, 3 a.m. Eastern, 12 a.m. Pacific. The Star Wars show will be releasing Saturday morning, so it'll be Saturday, 3 a.m. Eastern, 12 a.m. Pacific. So that show will be coming out on that date. And that's just so that, when Disney Plus shows come out or when movies come out, we'll be on that date. The date might change for the first episode, but after the first episode, it's going to be coming out on the Fridays there, or Fridays going into Saturdays.
Mhm.
So we are very excited, me and TJ, to bring you that show. We're going to be kicking off with the first 8 episodes, and that will be a weekly show as well. We're going to be kicking off the first 8 episodes as a review for the Mandalorian. So once we are done with that, then we're going to go into different pockets of Star Wars. We're going to be breaking down top 5 lists. So we can have like a top 5 of Skywalker saga soundtracks, or we could even get more specific than that. We could do top 5 Star Wars soundtracks from just one trilogy. Or we could do top 5 Star Wars bounty hunters. It's really anything. That's just one of the ideas that we have for the show. But it is going to be a weekly Star Wars specific show on the podcast feed starting this week. So we are very excited to bring you that. But other than that, I think that'll do it for this episode. Once again, my name is Sean Monk.
And I'm TJ Cornwell.
And remember to live your life 1/4 mile at a time.